Is IREN the next digital infrastructure giant, or is the stock's volatility a warning sign for investors? That is the big question as we move into March 2026. IREN has become one of the most interesting companies in the digital infrastructure and crypto sector, but the price action has been a wild ride. In this video, we're going to analyze the recent developments, dive into the fundamental data, and look at the technical price levels and potential targets you need to watch. Let's get into it. First, let's look at what IREN actually does. The company operates at the intersection of digital infrastructure, crypto mining, and high-performance computing. As the demand for massive computing power grows, especially with the explosion of AI and next-generation data centers, IREN has been positioning itself as a key player. However, because this sector is closely tied to both technology cycles and crypto markets, the stocks can be extremely volatile. Investors are constantly trying to price in the massive growth potential against the high costs of building out this physical infrastructure. To see if the business is matching the hype, we have to look at the fundamentals. We'll be looking at the figures in millions of dollars, and we'll also reference the LTM, which stands for the last 12 months. This gives us the most up-to-date look at their performance over the past year. Let's start with revenue, which is the total amount of money the company brings in from its services. In 2021, revenue was just $7.9 million. It grew to $59 million in 2022 and $75.5 million in 2023. But look at the acceleration. In 2024, it jumped to $187.2 million, and in 2025, it exploded to $501 million. With the LTM at $280 million, the market is expecting 2026 revenue to potentially exceed $1,019.7 million. That is over $1 billion in revenue, suggesting massive growth potential if this expansion continues at this pace.
Next is operating profit, which reflects the company's performance from its core business operations. In 2022, they had a small profit of $0.3 million, but as they scaled, they saw losses, including $160.2 million in 2023. While we saw a brief return to a profit of $17.3 million in 2025, the LTM shows a loss of $55 million, and the expectation for 2026 is a loss of $95.5 million. This volatility is typical for companies in a heavy expansion phase, where infrastructure investments often outpace early earnings. Now, let's look at the bottom line. Net income, which is the final profitability after all costs and taxes. The company saw large losses early on, specifically $419.8 million in 2022. However, we've seen a significant improvement recently. In 2025, net income turned positive at $86.9 million, and the LTM shows a massive jump to $594.4 million. This is a strong signal that the company is finding ways to turn its scale into actual profit. Finally, we look at free cash flow, which measures how much cash the company generates after all expenses and investments. This remains heavily negative. In 2024, it was negative $427.7 million, and in 2025, it hit negative $1,126.7 million. The LTM is negative $941.8 million, and the expectation for 2026 is a massive negative $5,362 million. This tells us that IREN is still investing aggressively in its growth and infrastructure. They are spending billions to build for the future, which is common for companies trying to dominate the data center space. So, what does the chart tell us? As of March 2026, the stock has recently moved inside a key reaction zone between $37 and $56. This is an area where we've seen a lot of market activity and where buyers have previously appeared to support the price. If momentum returns and investor sentiment around the AI and data sector stays strong, the next logical short-term target zone is $87 to $98. This is the next major resistance level where the stock could head if the current growth trend continues to excite the market. For the long-term believers, if IREN successfully scales its data centers and the sector remains robust, we are looking at a long-term target zone between $106 and $137. This represents the significant upside potential if the company can successfully transition from an aggressive spender to a dominant infrastructure provider. To summarize, IREN is showing extremely strong revenue growth and improving trends in net profitability. However, the company is still burning a lot of cash to fund its massive expansion. The technicals show clear levels, with the market currently watching that $37 to $56 range very closely. But what's your move? Would you consider buying IREN at these levels, or are you waiting for more confirmation from the market? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this analysis, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.